What up guys, it's Chase Braswell of Team Disc Golf Sporting Goods, and this is my 2021 In The Bag. Let's go. First we'll start out with my bag. I use the Dynamic Discs Paratrooper backpack with the Wisconsin state flag pattern on it. I really like this bag because it's lightweight, very comfortable if I just want to go for a quick round, or for a longer round. It holds all the discs I need it to, and has extra storage. Overall, a really great bag, but the main reason I use it is because of the Wisconsin state flag pattern, of course. Starting off with the side pockets, I might carry my phone, or perhaps even a grip sack in the side pockets. Nothing else really goes in there as far as discs go. I'll start off with my putting putters. I putt with the Dynamic Discs Classic Blend Judges. I really like the feel of the Judge, has the bead. These particular ones are more bead in, so that gives me a nice straight flight, which gives me lots of glide for my putt. Overall, highly recommend the Judge. Moving on to my throwing putters, which I carry in the top of the bag. Actually, I have quite a few of them, 7 to be exact. I'll start off with my favorite ones, and those are the Banger GTs. I carry 2 of them. This one is in the Pro D plastic with the heart foil. I have several aces with this disc, and I even have a whole video made just about this disc that you might want to check out. It's very beat in, so it has an understable flight. I can trust this on hyzer and know that it's going to either flip up or even flip over if I throw it really hard. This other one is in the new Putterline plastic. It's not quite as beat in, but it is still pretty seasoned. Has a slightly understable flight. I like this for hyzer flips, or just any type of approach shot in the open or the woods. This would definitely be my go-to banger. Next up, I carry the Paige Pierce Tour Series Z Fierce. This is very different from most other Fierces because it is surprisingly stable. I can throw this on slight hyzer and it's going to flip up to flat and go straight and not move off its line. I can trust this to even hold a hyzer into some headwinds. Seriously, this is a great putter that you should definitely check out. Next up is the Fourth Circle Discs Dingo. I do not know what plastic this is in, I apologize. This putter does not fly. Seriously, it doesn't fly. Well, I mean it does, but it doesn't want to. It has a very deep feel in the hand, very overstable. I'd probably put the glide at a 0 if I could. This thing, you just throw it, and you know it's going left, and you know it's gonna sit where it hits. Next up is a new addition to my bag, and that is the Rubber Blend Ringer GT. This disc has a very interesting feel in the hand. It's pretty small feeling. It's got the nice, groove top on top. I don't really use that, however. It's really nice for backhands, although I'm really liking it for forehand approach shots. It's really nice and overstable, so I can count on it to finish every time. Definitely an interesting disc that you might want to check out. Next up is another overstable putter, and that is the Viking Discs Knight. I love the feel of this plastic. Again, I apologize, I do not know what the plastic type is. It's very nice and slick. Got the awesome look to it. This disc is just amazing. I only throw it on backhand though because I don't quite like the feel of it for a forehand. Anytime I'm in the woods or open and need something that will glide and be overstable, this is the disc that I'm reaching for. As we go from putters into mid-ranges, the zone fits right in between. I love this disc in the ESP plastic, not only for the look but also the feel. It has a dependable flight. Doesn't beat in very fast, and it does what a zone does. It's overstable. I like this for when I would normally throw the Ringer GT or even perhaps the knife and I just want a bit more distance. The zone is what I'm reaching for. Next up are my mid-ranges. I bag 5 of these and they're a very important slot in my game. First I'll start off with my favorite mid-range, the Buzzz. I carry 2 of them in my bag. Start off with the most understable, and that is the OG Glow Ledgestone 2021 Jawbreaker Buzzz. This disc has some wear, but being in Jawbreaker plastic, it beats in very fast and has a very understable flight. I'd compare this to like a Soul in stability. It's gotten that flippy. I like this for any time I want to throw a turnover, but I also want to release it on hyzer, or if I'm just throwing a really high turnover, I love to throw this disc. The next Buzzz is a very new Buzzz to my bag, and that is the Crystal Buzzz. This one has a unique feel. It's got a bit more dome to it than most Buzzes that I felt, and because of that it has a more overstable flight. This one goes basically dead straight, have a little turn but a little fade. If I throw it on hyzer, it'll flip up to flat just barely, but it'll also finish to the left. Overall, a very dependable disc and one that gets a lot of use. Next up is a very interesting disc, and that is the Launch Codex. Now, I had no idea what this disc was until a couple months ago, but now I'm so glad that I know what it is. It's a pretty overstable disc. It's in a baseline plastic that feels really good. I love throwing this nice and hard because I know it'll go straight, but also finish, but not too much of a finish. Overall, it's a very dependable disc. I don't really throw this in the wind because it's not quite stable enough, but anytime there's a no-wind situation and need to go straight with a dependable finish to the left, this is what I'm throwing. Getting even more overstable now is the Caiman. In Star Plastic, I love this disc. Has a very comfortable feel in the hand for both forehand and backhand shots. It's overstable, but not monstrously overstable. I just love this disc. I can throw it hard, and I know that's going to finish left every time. I can throw it into a headwind and know that it's not going to flip. Overall, a very dependable disc. Last but certainly not least for my mid-ranges is the Justice. This is a very overstable disc. I mainly use this on approach shots when I want to throw something on anhyzer, whether it be a forehand or a backhand, and have a dependable finish for it. It's one that I definitely like to throw in the woods more than the open. I actually have never tried this as a headwind fighting disc because usually there isn't too much wind around here, but it would probably be great for that too. Next up, we'll move into my fairway drivers. I bag 5 of these as well, and they serve a very important slot in my bag. I'll start with the Undertakers. I bag 2 of these in my bag, and it's just a phenomenal fairway driver. First off, I just have a stock Z Undertaker. This one's been in my bag since the spring, so it's nice and understable. I can throw it on hyzer, it'll flip up to flat, get a little turn, but also finish flat. Or I can throw this for a really big turnover shot, and I know that it's going very far, but also very controlled. That's one of the unique things about this disc, is it's a fairway driver with the distance of a distance driver. Next up is a new addition to my bag, and that's an ESP Undertaker with the Green Mountain Championships stamp. This disc has a super awesome die. I love throwing it, even if it doesn't go where I want it to. I still love throwing it just because it looks awesome. This one is surprisingly overstable. I can throw it flat and I know it's going to finish to the left every time, which is very rare for an Undertaker, but I also love it. Next up is the Thunderbird. This is a classic fairway driver that I love to throw. This one has the Disc Golf Sporting Goods stamp on it. It's pretty straight now. It started more overstable, but I just like gripping this hard on a dead straight shot. I know it's going to turn a little, but also fade back. I like this for uphill shots that I know aren't going to go too far to the right or left. This has a great amount of control, and I absolutely love throwing it. My last 2 fairway drivers are actually pretty similar, but they both serve a purpose. First one is the Z Raptor. I just love throwing this in the open. Don't throw it too much because I don't play in the open that much, but when I'm in the open, I throw this all the time. Very dependable, finishes to the left every time, and won't flip into a headwind. Next up is the Tracker. This is in Big Z Plastic, the Ledgestone 2021 edition. It's very similar to a Raptor, but it's slightly more comfortable in the hand. I'll throw this in the woods. I don't really throw it in the open because I have the Raptor, but this one is basically a Raptor with slightly less finish at the end. Last but absolutely not least are my distance drivers. I only bag 4 of them at the moment, but I love each one of them. I'll start off with the flippiest one, and that is my Titanium Swirl Thrasher. This disc is very understable. I can throw this one on a lot of hyzer and it'll flip up to flat and carry straight, or I can throw this on slate hyzer and it'll have a nice big turn. If I throw it on some anhyzer, I can get some big distance rollers with it, and overall, just an amazing disc. Before we get into my bomber discs, we have to talk about the Force. This is a very controllable 12-speed distance driver. It's very overstable in the Z Plastic. I know I can throw this as hard as I want to. It will not flip. It'll have a nice kind of forward finishing left fade though. It's not so much of a dump, but it'll get me extra distance and finish left. Now for my go-to distance driver. That is the Swirly Z Crank. I have this bead in perfectly. It's got about 3 weeks of wear on it. I can throw this on hyzer. It'll flip up to flat, turn, and then fade at the end. It's controllable in the woods. It goes far in the open. Not a great wind fighter, but if you're going for max distance, you shouldn't be throwing into a headwind. Last disc is the Albatross. I've not seen anyone else who throws this disc, but it's still very good. It's pretty fast. It has a super sharp rim. When I first held it when it was brand new, it felt like I was holding the blade of a knife. This thing is very, very fast. Pretty understable. I can throw it on some hyzer, it'll get a nice turn, and then finish back left, and it goes just forever. Doesn't have a lot of glide, but it's so fast that you don't really need that much glide. That will conclude my In The Bag video. I hope you all enjoyed it and that you're able to learn something from it. If you're interested in buying any of the discs that I had in my bag, you can go over to discgolfsportinggoods.com, and they just might have some of the molds that I throw in stock. Plus, you can use my discount code to save money. Not only will it save you money, but it also benefits me as a player and helps me to put out more videos like this for all of you. Thank you so much for watching.